vista into a world of wondrous ideas signifying man's achievements, a step into the future with predictions of constructive things to come. Tomorrow offers frontiers in science, adventure, and ideals, the atomic age, the challenges of space, and the hope for a peaceful and unified world. Those words were said by Walt Disney himself in 1955 when Tomorrowland was dedicated. He was always good at turning a phrase, but I don't really think he had a movie in mind when he made that section of the park, especially since it would take 60 years to finally be released and it would star one of the Batmans. This is a request from Movie Johnson over on Patreon. If you want to be like him, you can go over to my page right now. You'll get a bunch of other perks as well, but you can request me to review a movie a month. Any movie that you'd like that I haven't done already. Tomorrowland was directed by Brad Bird in the far distant year of 2015. There are some common themes that run through all of his movies. Everything has some kind of futuristic tribute to the 1950s, well, except Ratatouille. And there always seems to be a character who is withheld from doing the great things they are meant to do. His movies give an appreciation to those who need to express their greatness when circumstances stop them from doing so, because of the laws, the period of time, or the overall negativity of the world. Tomorrowland was something that excited me the moment I saw the first trailer. The concept seemed so unique and creative that I couldn't help but see the movie the day it came out. It was a Disney film based on a Disney theme park, so it basically had everything I love, plus George Clooney. I remember the first time seeing it that the stuff that was shown in the trailer really delivered. The concept of the pin that can take you to a photographic dimension was genius. The main character was likable, somewhat klutzy, and had just the right amount of edge. The ideas brought up during some of the conversations are enlightening and challenging. For being a Disney kids movie that's pretty much stuck doing a basic structure, it pushed a lot of boundaries when it came to storytelling. So it's really disappointing that I felt underwhelmed after leaving the theater. It had good special effects and color tones, but it was really lacking something. Did the story fall apart by the end, or did everything just go too far? Well, I can't help but feel that there was an oversimplification of the current world-ending events. The message is to be more positive and optimistic about the future, and by doing so, we can push for initiatives to save the planet rather than fear for the worst and do nothing at all. I think that's really smart, but the way it goes about it sometimes is confusing. For instance, there's a device that can see the future, which helps detect when the end of the world is coming, and we see their family home has flooded. However, the moment Casey gets a slight bit of positivity, suddenly the flood is gone. That's an interesting concept, but technically it can mess with your head a bit. There's not really a direct line from Casey being positive to the flood being gone, because the flood is a natural disaster. Perhaps this kind of optimism could lead to scientists and engineers being optimistic and wanting to develop a way to stop natural disasters like floods, no matter how impossible it may seem. However, the way the movie goes about showing it is a bit confusing and simplified, and while it's all meant to serve a good moral, I can't help but feel that some intuitive children would be questioning that setup. The device itself is discovered to be the thing that is feeding the world negativity, since it's creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. Being in constant fear of the end of the world will cause the end of the world, since you did nothing to stop it, having already prepared for the worst. I like that idea, but why does it have to be one giant machine that's doing this? Because in reality, that's not really a good explanation for how negativity spreads. It spreads through ideologies and media, through advertising, and worrying about demographics over reporting actual news. I don't think the movie ignores all those problems, but it does make the problem seem easier to fix, since all the characters have to do is destroy the machine. I also felt that the tone was all over the place at times. Sometimes it was serious, leaning on science fiction, but other times it felt like a goofy comedy, all with one too many conveniences. There's a whole scene within some collector store, and it feels like it comes out of a 2000s Nickelodeon TV movie. In any case, the movie just didn't hit me the first time. In the special features, Brad Bird talks about how NASA hasn't been sending many rockets into space, and he reasons that mankind has started to give up on explorations or improving the well-being of the planet. I guess that's true about NASA, but I just didn't feel that we were plummeting down as much as he did. I didn't think negativity was the sole reason for nothing improving. But I also thought that we haven't really stopped progressing. I just thought everything was blown out of proportion. I perhaps was too ignorant of the climate, but don't worry. I realized later what was really going on. Because you see, this movie was released in 2015, 1 year before the United States election, and other elections around the globe, all of which have divided not only this nation, but the entire world. Even that fact has felt overblown to me, but there's definitely an online world that has driven us more apart, and politics have been a deciding factor on the future of many industries and people. So now, watching this movie in 2018, I think it works a lot better. It is delivering a message about optimism, and while it simplifies the ideas, it is still a strong moral nonetheless. And with that, I should also note that there's a lot that I love. I think the opening scene is brilliant, having it set at the World's Fair in 1964, which also helps to tie it to the actual Disneyland resort. I like the complicated relationship between Frank and Athena, and the godlike significance of her character. There's a lot of fun set pieces and adventure, and it has a great villain performance by Hugh Laurie, who serves less as a bad guy and more as an opposing nature who has a different ideology.
There are two wolves, and they're always fighting. One is darkness and despair. The other is light and hope. Which wolf wins?
Whichever one you feed.
Good.
And by the end, I have this really warm heart that makes me feel motivated. I can look into all the issues, but that's not really the point. The movie is supposed to push you the way it pushes me, to make a difference. And as Casey says, feed the right wolf. So what'd you all think of Tomorrowland? Do you think it's underrated, or do you think that it's still the lesser of Brad Bird's work? Honestly, I still think I like Mission Impossible 4 the least amount, but maybe we'll get into that another day. Thank you to everyone who supports me on Patreon. That's Lucas, Ryan, and Movie Johnson. And you can be all like them and go onto my Patreon and request something monthly as well. They've all been doing it. I've had a lot of fun doing it. I see some movies that I haven't seen in years, and I see some movies that I just haven't gotten a chance to get to, or, you know, even some things that surprise me and some things that really let me down. So it's been a lot of fun, but, you know, tomorrow I think I'm gonna have to get this box set cracked again, so we'll see what Conquered film I'll be doing tomorrow.